Hey, welcome back to our study. We are looking at a peaceful departure, and this is Genesis chapter 33. Today we're looking at verses 1 through 3. And, we're going to look at the final preparation that Jacob makes before Esau shows up. And it says, Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau was coming, and 400 men with him. Now, Jacob sees from far off that Esau was coming with the 400 men. Esau does not come under the cover of darkness. He doesn't lie in wait and ambush for him. But approaches by day in full view. As Esau makes his way toward them, Jacob, goes to his family and divides his family. He divides them up again. Because remember, he divided them into two. He divided everyone in two. And now he's going to divide his wives and their sons according to, who the mother is. So he's going to put the mother with whoever she gave birth to. And I find it interesting how he arranges them here, because what he does is he takes each mother, and I think he does it in order of his appreciation, his love for these women. So he takes the two servant women, his concubines, basically, Bilhah and Zilpah, and their children, and he puts them out in front. So they walk up front. Here's Bilhah and Zilpah, and, here's their kids. And then here comes Leah. Leah shows up with her children, all 6 of her sons, and Dinah too. And then here comes finally Rachel and Joseph. See, he doesn't put them in birth order, because if they put them in birth order, then really Leah should go first, because she gave birth to Reuben first. And then the slave women, and then finally Joseph, because Joseph is the last born so far, until we get to Benjamin later on. But he doesn't arrange them in the order of birth. He arranges them in the order of value to him, basically, because of the mothers. So that's kind of interesting that he does that. And it's really, I think, a foreshadowing, too, of what's to come, because as we know, the whole story with Joseph and the coat and the dreams and all that kind of stuff, and you can tell that Jacob just loves Joseph, and the other sons are kind of second down, they're somewhere else down on the list. So he arranges them in this order, and now he's ready to, present them. And so here comes Jacob, steps forward finally, and has his children and wives back there. And now what does he do? He bows 7 times, it says. As Jacob walks towards Esau, he starts bowing. He bows 7 times. Now, from archaeological research, we have found this act of bowing 7 times. It's actually a common way of greeting like a tribal leader, a tribal king. And so you would do that as you were going before someone who's a superior to you, right? He was a superior king, so you would bow 7 times to show your respect for this person's station in life. Now, Esau is the older son, and by minutes, really, however long it took, because his hand came out on his heel. And so really, they're being born at the same time. But Esau did come out first. He started out first. And according to the law of primogeniture, the older gets the good stuff, he would be deserving of Jacob's respect. So according to the fact that he was born first, he deserves respect. However, we must remember the context here. If you turn back to Genesis chapter 25, verse 23, the Lord told Rebekah that, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples from within you shall be divided. The one shall be stronger than the other. The older shall serve the younger. And so, really, we already have this promise that Jacob was going to be number 1 and Esau was going to serve him. But here Jacob is not doing that. And then he flipped forward to Genesis 27, chapter 29, or verse 29, and that says, "Let people serve you and nations bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you." So Jacob, by the word of God and the blessing of Isaac and the promise of God, is to rule over Esau. And yet he bows before his brother. It's pretty interesting. Perhaps he's following the old proverb, a soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Instead of provoking those that are his enemies. Jacob has learned to show respect and honor to those who have opposed him. So he does that with Laban. Now he does that with Esau. And he learned this in the 20 years that he was with his uncle Laban. Matthew Henry said, "Many preserve themselves by humbling themselves. The bullet flies over him that stoops." That's a very interesting, that's a great picture of, the bullet flies over the one who stoops. So if you humble yourself, you bow yourself down, then you're not going to get hit by the bullets that those who oppose you would be firing at you. But 20 years, of servitude, God has taught Jacob that those that humble themselves, God will exalt. And that's the main point. Now, many years later, Jesus would also teach the same lesson to his disciples. When the mother of the sons of Zebedee come and ask Jesus to allow her sons to sit at his right and left hand, he concludes his reply by saying, "Whoever would be great among you must be your servant, and whoever would be first among you must be your slave, even as the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." As Christians, we humble ourselves before God and others and allow God to exalt us. That's what we do. So that's the very first 3 verses of this passage. We'll get into more next time.